And so, hi, my name is Caitlin. Really honored to be here today, and even more honored to be introduced as sports entrepreneur. Because sports entrepreneur, wow, what a fancy title. Thank you, Sophia. And somehow, this title has made me sound cooler, more nuanced, more professional, yada yada yada. It's like the ultimate way of making a sleep-deprived student who wants to start her own business sound prestigious. Yeah, and it's funny how the word entrepreneur is so overrated that when people hear that I'm starting my own business, they instantly go like, "Oh my god, you must be rich." Or, "Oh, so do you go to banquets where like billions of dollars of deals are signed every day?" Well, the reality, no. At least it hasn't happened to me. All I had was trying not to worry about my negative net income at 3 a.m. in the morning. Yeah. And so you see, sometimes it doesn't really matter what is actually happening, but rather how people see it. And that, my friends, is the power of perspectives. Now, let's move on to something that we all love, school. Homework, yeah. Stress, yeah. Due dates, yeah. We've all been through it. But let me tell you the irony. People dream of getting into MBA programs. They pay $500,000 to get the same life that we have, which is due dates and all-nighters. Well, we are there every day, being like, "Oh God, when does our holiday start? I can't take it anymore." But what if I tell you that our school is actually an undercover MBA? Think about it, think about it. Our school isn't just about preparing us for the exams, for the APs, the IBs, the A levels. It is a covert MBA program. And let me show you why. The first lesson you learn in school? Group projects. Remember that one time when you were in a group project and you were the only one working? Well, three of your other teammates were either gaming, playing dead, or procrastinating until final moment, be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I actually forgot." Well, if that sounds familiar, if that happened to you, well, congratulations, because that is exactly how corporate group projects work with your coworkers. And and ironically, these free riders in the society, sometimes they're not called free riders. Sometimes they have titles like the chief executor of blah blah blah, or like the chief monitor of yada yada yada. So yeah, we've just got to deal with it. And so it's these exact skills that we learn in group projects. For example, how to motivate the unmotivated, how to work with your 猪队友s, or even how to like stop yourself from trying to strangle someone because they did something stupid. Yeah, these are the exact skills that are going to make you survive through your workforce. So moving on to lesson number 2. Your teachers are actually your first investors. Every time you argue with the teacher for a deadline extension, you are actually practicing your pitching skills. Remember that time when remember that time when you got a 92 on your midterm? Well, you would go persuade your teacher and be like, 老师, if you just see for the previous question, you see that I should get an airy carry forward point. So should I get one more point to just not cut down? Please, 老师? Well, let me tell you, those exact moments are actually the same as something in the future like Investor Buffett. So if you just turn to page 3 of our proposal, then you'll see that you should invest in us because there is a growing demand in our industry. Yeah, so if you're the student who always argues with your teachers for higher grades, then congratulations. You're actually working on your negotiating skills. Now, lesson number 3, pop quizzes. Do you remember that one day in school, like in a normal school day, and then it was in the middle of a math class, and then suddenly the teacher goes like, okay, pupils, clean your desks, we're gonna have a pop quiz. And then everyone panics. Well, let me tell you, that is actually preparing you for something like your client asking you to change your proposal 5 minutes before the exam, 5 minutes before the presentation. Or your boss suddenly asking you, so what do you think is our strategy for the Chinese market? Well, the tactic here is not really about knowing everything, but instead you think right on the spot. You just gotta sound like you mean it. For example, you'd be like, okay, so boss, we are going to implement a dual processing strategy, which we will emphasize both the macro policies and the micro industrial trends. Yeah, and although you may not be 100% confident in what you just said, or you might not even know what you just said, but you gotta sound like you do, and you gotta sound like you mean it. And you gotta sound like you are responsible enough to take what the boss has for you. So you see, school is not just about algebra, it's not about calculus, it's not about Shakespeare even. It's a covert MBA program. The pop quizzes prepare you for your future investor Q&As. And your slackers in your team projects, they're actually the toxic coworkers you're going to meet in the future. Yeah. But don't you see that all of this isn't obvious until you've shifted your perspective? Many students, they see school as a checklist. Okay, I need to go to class. Okay, maybe I'll get good grades. And yes, I need to survive. But what if you change your perspective for a little bit? Then every one of those mundane moments in school will turn into strategic training. And that, my friends, is the power of perspectives. It can be applied to everywhere. The world doesn't change, but your lens can. And that is what makes all the difference. Thank you.